That's not what you want. If you pick a guy fourth, he'll probably still get some chances there. We'll see what happens to start the season. One more. This one's for you, Mike T. J.J. McCarthy not playing tomorrow against New England for the Vikings. What has he shown you so far that gives you confidence?
Cross, two things. One, it's not too big for him. No pre-snap penalties, ran the offense well, and then he moved really well. Again, big knee surgery, missed the whole year. He looked very good in terms of his movement, which is very encouraging for the Vikings.
Earlier we asked you about Caleb Williams. Remind everybody why he was the one pick. Let's do that with JJ. He was the 10th pick in the draft. They moved up to get him. They let Sam Darnold go. They told Aaron Rodgers no thanks. Why? What is it about this kid?
Yeah, got a couple of plays to show you here. First of all, he has a great arm, and he is very experienced in terms of looking at defense here. Looks like cover two. And as this play progresses, you're going to see the safety come on down. And as J.J. McCarthy rolls out of the pocket, look where he keeps his eyes down the field. He has man coverage, throws a perfect pass for a touchdown. That's somebody that knows how to diagnose quickly. And here, you're going to see the corner. Sorry, Neek. Outruns leverage. That is a great athlete. That's why Minnesota traded up for him. He can make all the throws. He's experienced. And then, look, that translates to last week. So I trust Kevin O'Connell and his development. And, again, a little concerned about the rust in the knee. He looked great. And to me, you can see why they moved on from Sam Darnold, Gross.
Yeah, it does seem like they really trust their coaching staff to make sure this works, right?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is Kevin O'Connell. Kevin O'Connell, to me, is the X factor. If Kevin O'Connell allows Sam Darnold to walk out, doesn't bring in a threatening backup, that just tells you everything you need to know about how he feels about J.J. McCarthy starting the season.
I feel like at this point we feel like the Vikings offense is probably going to be pretty good because we've seen it with a number of different quarterbacks. What about that defense?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about the defense. They were incredible last year, creating turnovers and just putting their offense in position to win. But they were incredible in part because they did a lot of simulated pressures and deceptive things with their defense. And they always threatened to do cover zero. They lost Stephon Gilmore, who was like their best man coverage guy. If you can't actually run cover zero, lining up in a formation that threatens cover zero doesn't scare anybody. So they need their corners to step up to allow them to do all the different tricky things that they have done in the past to give them some success.
You think they have enough back there? I mean, I guess that's the question, right?
I will never give up on Jeff Okudah. I remember that tape in college. I'm not giving up. I believe him and Isaiah Rodgers are going to make it happen. I believe Jeff Okudah. He was so good at college.
This is the third pick.
He was so good at college. I don't get what happened. I don't know what happened, but I think that this will be the right situation with Brian Flores will coach him up, and they'll be good on defense.
Unproven young quarterback, yes, but a team that won 14 games last year, had a shot at the 1 seed in the conference until the last week of the season. Is this a Super Bowl contender?
Absolutely. Again, I'm going to go with the combination of Kevin O'Connell with J.J. McCarthy and Brian Flores. That's going to be really hard to beat. I agree with Neek. There'll be some growing pains on defense, but they'll still bring pressure. I can't wait for that opening Monday night game in Chicago. But what J.J. McCarthy can do, he is a full field quarterback. And again, Justin Jefferson, if he's not the best receiver outside Jamar Chase, he probably is. So when you have difference makers like they do, Graz, I know Addison's going to miss a couple games, but you go put their roster up against almost anybody with what should be a really good young emerging quarterback.
Tough division, right? I mean, the 3 teams made the playoffs last year. You think they got enough to win it?
I mean, listen, absolutely. I think, there could be transition early on, breaking in a new quarterback who's first time starting. But again, I always talk about infrastructure with these teams. I mean, not many teams have it better than the Minnesota Vikings, and so they'll get this thing going.
And the rest of the teams in the division are going through transition too. Some are even bigger. I guess the Packers might be the organization that has the least amount of transition to go through, but those other guys are bringing in new coaches, new coordinators, new O-linemen, so they'll be going through some growing pains also.
See what happens. The always fascinating NFC North. Time now for Get Up and Go, which is brought to you by Nature Made. Later today, the NCAA will announce its...
Yo, what's good, Vikings Nation? It's your guy Victor here from Report Vikings, and I've got a real one for y'all today. We've got some fresh reports that the Minnesota Vikings are actively exploring a trade for a veteran wide receiver. And with everything happening in our WR room right now, it honestly makes total sense. Let's dive into what's going on, who the options are, and who I think could actually make an impact in purple and gold this season. Alright, first things first, let's talk about why this is happening. Right now, things are a little shaky at wide receiver. Justin Jefferson is coming off that hamstring issue. All signs point to him being ready for week 1, but we all know how tricky soft tissue injuries can be. Jordan Addison suspended the first 3 games. Not ideal. Rondale Moore out for the entire year. Jalen Naylor week to week with a hand injury. So basically, it's JJ and a bunch of question marks to start the season. And if we want JJ McCarthy to thrive early on, he needs reliable weapons, not just Justin Jefferson and hope. Now the question is, what kind of receiver are we even looking for? It doesn't sound like we're going big game hunting. Terry McLaurin is reportedly at a contract standstill in Washington, but are we really about to pay WR1 money to another guy when we've already got to extend Jefferson and Addison long term? Tyreek Hill is another name people keep throwing around. And don't get me wrong, he'd be electric. But again, that's not happening, not with our current cap and team build. What we're really looking for is a guy who can step in, hold it down while Addison is out, and still bring value once he's back. A real professional, someone who doesn't need 10 targets to make an impact. So who's out there? Let's go through a few real possibilities. Adam Thielen, Panthers? Look, I know it sounds nostalgic, but if Carolina's willing to move him, a Thielen reunion actually makes a lot of sense. He knows the system, he's a reliable route runner, and let's be honest, he still has hands. Allen Lazard, Jets. This one's sneaky. He's buried behind Wilson, and the Jets might want to free up some cap. If Lazard's healthy, he's a big target with red zone value. Patriots receivers. New England is stacked with okay but not great WRs. Maybe we can get someone like Kendrick Bourne or Devontae Parker on the cheap. Mitchell Tinsley, Bengals. This kid flashed in preseason, and the Bengals have too many mouths to feed. Tinsley's young, cheap, and could be a sneaky upside guy. And hey, don't forget, Amari Cooper is still a free agent. Not likely, but worth watching. Now I know not every trade gets done. Pelicero made it clear, nothing is imminent right now. So there's a good chance we just wait until roster cutdowns after preseason and scoop up a vet off waivers. But man, I'd rather be proactive. This team has real momentum. Let's not slow it down by starting the season shorthanded. Personally, if we can get a vet WR for a day 3 pick or a depth player, I say go for it. Give JJ McCarthy a real chance to cook early. Don't let this offense stall out while Addison is gone. We've got a legit shot at the NFC North this year. The Lions lost some pieces. The Packers are still unproven. The Bears, come on. Let's build on what we've got and make a run. But alright, Vikings Nation, I want to hear from you. Should we trade for a vet WR? Who's the best fit? Thielen, Lazard, someone else? Or should we just roll with what we have and wait for Addison? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you're hyped for this season, and don't forget to subscribe to Report Vikings for everything purple and gold, every single week. SKOL, baby, let's get it.